answer to a problem you were heaven sent. Deep down inside you, waiting to be free, is the power to save the world in me. But I'll tell you now, oh, yeah, for a reason. You're no accident. You're the answer to a problem you were heaven sent. Oh, 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 oh. Love is the reason you were born that day. Love is the answer, and its light show the way. 'Cause I'll tell you now, you're here for a reason. You're no accident. You're the answer to a problem you were heaven sent.
Yay! Alright, let me get my window up. It should be showing, but it's not. So. Wrong thing. Wrong thing, wrong thing, wrong thing. Don't show me the wrong thing. Yep. If I turn on the right thing, maybe it'll help. Nope, it's still showing it. Sometimes I love YouTube. Sometimes I really hate YouTube. I'm sure the feeling's mutual. Okay. There we go. Alright, that's fine. Yeah. And I'm gonna pop out chat so I can see you guys over here. Woo. It is a warm, quite warm Monday. Not really, you know, smoking hot, but hot enough to be requiring the fan to be up as loud as it can go, as high as it can go, so that I don't think from there. But I didn't want to abandon you guys and not work on anything today, so here I be. Yes, muggy is the right word for it, maybe. Muggy indeed. And let's get our menu up. Make sure it's showing. Lose it. Wow. Where's my tools? Come on, tools. Oh, there they are. Sometimes they're hiding in plain sight, like right then. All right, good job. Yep, we're back. Hopefully. It's going to give me a hard time, isn't it? Yes, yes, yes. Boy, why must you do this? Why must you be difficult? Photoshop and all the other stuff that streaming requires. Okay, good. Alright, fine. It's now showing me try, which is what I wanted it to do. But, you know, there we go. And there's our toolbar. Yay! We can have both on screen, I promise. Screen? Screen. Stream. Easy words for me to say clearly. My language skills are peaked today. Hey, it's Spooky. Good to see you. How has the day been for you? Let's see if we can find our missing stylus. On screen, it does not want to show up. This is going to be one of those technical difficulties nights. I can tell already. Somehow it just doesn't want to behave. I don't know what its major malfunction happens to be. Technical difficulties. That's what we're calling it. For some reason, it doesn't want to respond. Yeah, I get that. Oh, maybe something unplugged. That's the next question. Did I maybe accidentally unplug a thing? Nope, it's not the unplugging of the thing. I really don't know why it's not responding. Okay, there we go. Now it's starting to. Yay! Yikes! Okay, we're gonna zoom in a little bit so I can see more. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing on the screen? Yes, you are. Good deal. Hopefully that will be the last of the technical difficulties for the evening. Because I could sure deal with less of them. I agree. It's over there doing the same thing I am. It's too hot. You can't make me work in this weather. I refuse to work in these conditions. Actually, that's not true. I've been working all day. All day on a manuscript. I am still working on the same manuscript that I started June 6th, but I'm really happy because it is making progress, it is coming along, and I do see an end in sight, even if it's not coming as fast as I want it. And I think it's going to be probably one of the best things I've ever written, so there's that. It's definitely shaping up my writing in ways I didn't expect it to. Hi, Linda. Oh, thunderstorms right now, huh? Yikes. Hopefully they're not too bad. We aren't having any right now, but that is subject to change without notice. My tool set keeps disappearing on me, which is really freaking annoying because I need it not to do that. There it is. It likes to go over to the other monitor and be part of that screen. Let's make sure I didn't lose it. There you go. All right. Still here. Still showing up. Still putting shadows on everything. It's only been a month. That's not a large amount of time to. Well, okay. To be fair, yes, that may not seem like a lot of time to you, but I have written more than 90,000 words of this manuscript, and I actually am fully capable of writing a complete manuscript in a week. So, yes, a month is actually a considerable amount of time for something when I am investing all of my time in it. Which is the frustrating part, I think, to me, in a way, is that I am investing so much of my time in it. And it's not that it isn't needed, because it is. This particular manuscript does need my love, my time, my attention, my full, undivided, and indivisible love, because it's not, it's a very special manuscript. But it does mean I'm putting aside other projects for it, so it feels a little bit like a sprint. And this girl is ready for that sprint to be done. But I will be taking a break for one way or another in 2 days' time, because we are going on that trip to Randy's family's reunion. So we will be hitting the road sometime on Wednesday, arriving in Des Moines, and spending time there Thursday, back on the road that evening, and arriving Friday morning in Oklahoma City also. So, yeah, I gotta do as much as I can while I can, and that's okay. The price I pay for being a little bit of a prolific writer. So I do write a lot. It can be a little tiring sometimes. But this book needs it. It deserves the time and attention I'm giving it. Oh, we plan to. Though I joke that, we go to reunions to remind ourselves of why we don't hang out with our family all that often. I'm actually, Friday, Randy is going to be spending time with his family. I am going to be traveling with my sister to visit my mother. Say prayers for me. It's always interesting when I visit mom. Thank you. Yes, I hope we have clear weather too. I mean, with all the craziness going on, who knows, right? There's heat waves and tornadoes and, all kinds of insanity. But we're going to hope for the best. We're going to do our best to get everything taken care of and batten down the hatches before we leave, and put it all in God's hands and trust Him to get us there. That is pretty much all we can do. I had hoped to have things turn out a little bit differently than they have by now, but sometimes you get to make the best of what you got. And you're grateful for what you got. I'm certainly that. Randy Ubi has a birthday tomorrow. I just want you to know that. So please harass him about his birthday. Because, you know, he's going to be celebrating his 51st birthday. It should be an interesting time for him. I do believe I have previously mentioned that every year on his birthday, he becomes an old man for 5 months. And then on my birthday, because I am never old and he is my same age, he is no longer old. Yes, yes. Visiting my mother is always an exercise. It doesn't always go wrong. It does quite often stretch my patience to its limit. But it's good to practice patience. And the best way to practice patience is on people who try it to the maximum. That is indeed how we improve in things. Being old is not being grown up. Oh, girl. I stopped. I gave up growing up a long time ago. I just grow out now. I haven't increased my height a lick since 6th grade, but man, have I managed to grow in other directions. If there were like some kind of reward for that, I would probably win it. The Unexpected Growth Award. That's right. You didn't ask for this. You didn't expect it. But we gave it to you anyway. Because why not? Who doesn't want a little extra around their edges? I say that like it's not my fault at all. You know, it's not fair. Truth is, I have more than contributed to where I'm at in my life. I wish I could blame other people for where I'm at in life. It would sure be easier. But I know better than that. Sometimes I'm just a victim of my own stupidity. Yeah, well, Lord, I couldn't grow taller, but I sure could grow wider. I did. uh, One of the things about my genetic combination that I inherited is it contributes quite nicely to being short and stout. You wouldn't have believed that when I was a kid, but that is the direction my body ended up heading. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Oh, by the way, this is from a show I used to watch when I was a kid growing up. It's funny. That particular segment was always filled with sad sob stories. My mom was actually taller than I was when I was growing up, and she's got a pretty bad curvature of the back now, and so I am taller than she is now by about the same amount she was taller than I was. Which, yeah, that's rough. Struggled to gain, well, I struggled to gain weight too until I got pregnant, and that fixed that problem in a right fast hurry. Once my son came along, I didn't have that problem anymore. After that, I had the problem of keeping it from creeping up on me. That's what I get for having a kid. Just kidding. I'd much rather have him than a thin waistline. He's one of the best things to ever happen in my life. Randy's one of them. He's one of them. Me and Jane's one of them. You guys are part of it. I've been really blessed in my life, to be perfectly honest. When I was younger, I didn't always see that. Now that I'm older, it's becoming more and more apparent to me just how blessed I really have been throughout my life. Gotten incredible opportunities, done some incredible things. Ooh, that's popping so nicely. Yes, it is. I'm really happy that we decided to stop and work on these shadows and things. Because it is just really bringing this thing to life. Bananas. It's, like I said a couple weeks ago, it is bananas how much of a huge difference these small tweaks are making in how this looks and feels. You're 4'11", your best friend is 6'2". And that's about the height difference of Randy and me. I'm 5 feet even with my shoes off, and he is 6'1", And so, everywhere we go, that is a noticeable difference in height. But I personally always had a fondness for tall guys, so it don't bother me. It was so funny. When I was a kid, and my brother was young and still shorter than I was determined that I wanted to be tall when I grew up. And I think part of that is because my mom told me that short people couldn't be models and nobody was going to hire me as a model because I was short. So I desperately wanted to be tall. Like, there was apparently something good about being tall. And at any rate, so I would sit on my brother and tell him, "You're never going to be taller than me." Of course, that didn't last past puberty. He shot up like a reed, and I stopped growing in the 6th grade. So we see how well that worked. God humbled the proud. I got the short genes in the family. The girl who wanted to be tall got the short genes. It's okay. I also wanted to have 4 kids, and I only ended up having 1. Not because of my plans, but nature just didn't cooperate. Sometimes, it's a reminder you can't take things for granted. Everybody tells you when you're young, oh, it's not that important. This one's not that important. You could always have another one. Well, that's not necessarily true. I look back and I thank God that I didn't take that advice and give my son up, because it would have crushed me. He was the only kid I was ever able to have, and I would have been absolutely heartbroken over that. I don't know if I would have psychologically recovered, to be perfectly honest. It would have been so damaging. Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate with what we think she should. I used to have people ask me, well, why don't you just get like IVF or, get some of those hormone treatments? And I was like, look, guys, I want to have a kid at a time. I want to have a litter of kids at a time. And a dog. I intended to have like 5 or 6 of them. And it's so funny because I went to a fertility doctor and his thing was to hand me this hormones. There were, and the known side effect is producing between 2 to 5 babies at a time. I was like, that's insane. You want me to take this stuff? No, that's crazy. I'm not doing that. I'm glad I didn't. Yeah. To me, that's just crazy. Why would you take that? I mean, you know you're not going to be able to handle it if you do. 5 babies at a time is a lot. Even 2 at a lot. Well, 1 is plenty at a time. Of course, I did have a grandmother on my mother's side of the family. A great-grandmother, rather. And she had like 6 sets of twins and a couple of sets of triplets. She ended up with 18 kids. I'm like, wow. And that was Mother Nature. That was There's no fertility treatments involved in that. Exactly. That's a lot of kids all at once. It's one thing if they're spread out and you have a chance to raise something, raise them up a little bit before the next one comes along. But whew, yeah, yep, yep, yep. Of course, I will say one of the reasons that women had so many kids back in the day was because not all of them made it to adulthood. You kind of needed to replace the ones you lost. Because losing kids was not at all uncommon. A lot of kids didn't make it past that first year. Those that did, a lot of them didn't make past their fifth. Mother Nature does tend to know what she's doing in terms of how many kids need to be had in order to make it for the next generation. Plus, I will say this, a lot of people lived on farms, and those kids were extra hands helping on the farm. It's a lot of work taking care of a farm. A lot of work. And it never stops, basically. You can tell your cow, sorry, Bessie, I don't feel like milking you today. I know your udders are full and you could get really sick and die if I don't, but hey, I'd like to sleep in today. It's a holiday. No, you don't get to do that. Day in and day out. It's a non-stop job. Which is why a lot of family farms tend to go away when the kids get older because they don't want that lifestyle. It's easy to blame corporates for buying up farmland, but a lot of that farmland is sold by families whose kids didn't want the lifestyle and didn't want the farm. There's sadness to that, but there's truth to it too. Yes, it is a lot of work to keep a farm going, and a whole lot of that work is pretty thankless and pretty much unappreciated by the rest of the world. That is until they don't get their food on time, that then people appreciate it. But for the most part, people don't think about what farmers go through. my grandpa, he had an acre farm, and it was a lot of work just for 1 acre. I can only imagine the amount of work that goes into more. And my grandpa didn't even have all the animals on it. He didn't like have chickens or anything. He probably should have. He would have been better off if he had at least chickens and maybe a goat or two, but he really didn't care for the work involved in taking care of animals. So. Hey, Rob. Good to see you. Yeah, we'll be traveling. Ubi and I will be traveling later this week. Yeah, still up to doing my dragon. I have missed Thursday last week, and I'll miss Thursday again this week, and Saturday also the same. But I'll be back on regular schedule starting next week. Hopefully. God willing and the creek don't rise, right? And yes, safe travels to you and the missus. Going anywhere particularly fun? Work or play or... She travels this week. Ah. We are increasing the shadows in this to make it increase in realism. Give it more of a feel of being occupied by something with weight and depth. Something that could legit take you out if it chose to. You're on Oak Island? Hmm, I've never been there. That sounds interesting. Ooh, I gotta get up to Willie's. Shoot. Forgot to do that today. But I gotta, as soon as I get off the stream, I gotta go up to our local grocery store and see if I can't slip a little something into the birthday show they're gonna have in the morning. Recognize my husband's birthday. Sheree. I want the whole world to know it. The sea is also. Occasional storms, small town, quiet beach, bringing the average age of tourists down a little. Nice. Single-handedly lowering the age of tourists in the area. News at 11. At least you're single-handedly raising the age. Be an interesting dynamic. They stepped into town and single-handedly raised the age of every resident in there. Woo. Someday, maybe. Maybe that's what I'll do. Go to some town, single-handedly raise the age just by stepping into its borders. Hey, you kids thought you were young. You ain't so young anymore, are you? I was just thinking about something hilarious to do. Let's create a sticker that says, as seen on YouTube, and attach it to every bit of art that I do. That I've actually done on this stream. As seen on YouTube. Kind of like, something that's seen on TV. As if I'm actually that famous or anybody would care, but hey, it's funny. And that's what matters. If you can't be cool and you can't be famous, be funny. People will forgive you. Famous or something? Nah, she's just seen it on YouTube, that's all. Oh, okay. Good on you, I guess. Moving on. Sorry, I know you guys probably wondered what the heck is she on? Nothing. Nothing at all, I promise. There's no drugs involved. Well, maybe caffeine. Maybe a little bit of caffeine. That might be some of it. I haven't had a lot of it, but might be some of it. Of course, it can also just be, the heat going to my brain and frying it, and this is the result. Remember those drug commercials like, this is your brain on drugs? This is your brain on heat. Bananas! Look, Mom, she's going bananas! I know. Ooh, speaking of bananas, that's something I need to pick up from the store too. Bananas, vanilla wafers, all the things. Yes, I'm just enjoying myself. If you're not prepared to make a total idiot of yourself or fool of yourself in front of people, please don't join YouTube. It will be a bad journey for you. And as you can tell, I am not afraid to be a total idiot in front of people. Oh well, you know what? You can get serious stuff any other place on the internet. We don't need to do serious. And now for no serious news. You know what my complaint is with the news? You want to know what my real complaint is? They call it news. But it's not really news. It's more like they're reporting on the expected result. Think about this, right? You turn on the news, and what do they report? They report things like, a politician lied. Is that really news? Or is that just their expected outcome? Right? I mean, if a politician opens their mouth, don't we sort of expect them to be lying? Here's the other thing, right? They report on things like clashes between groups like the KKK and the Black Panthers. Like, that's not the expected result. Like, if you put those two groups of people in the same arena, you kind of expect there to be bloodshed, right? Now, here's what I want to know. When the KKK and the Black Panthers get together and champion for world peace and have a family picnic, I want to know about that because I know the end of the world is about to hit. Because, yeah, dang, Jesus is on his way back. That is a miracle right there, right? They report on things like suicide jumps, right? Like somebody jumps off the Empire State Building and dies. That is not news. That is the expected outcome. What is news is if the guy jumps off the Empire State Building and lives. Now I want to hear about that because that is some remarkable news. Somebody get a reporter out there, get something, tell me all about that. That is news. So stop calling it news when all you're doing is reporting on the expected outcome of things. That's my pet peeve with the media. They call it news, but it's not new. It's the same old stuff rehashed. Same old stuff. Different day. Like, is it sad when those things happen? Yes. But it is the expected outcome. Yes, they do distort the news to their own agenda. I actually told my mom yesterday, I said, Mom, you gotta stop. You gotta realize they report the 1% of the worst of things that are going on in the world to you. And they pretend like that's the main thing happening. That's the main thing you need to pay attention to. And the reality is that 99.99% of people out there are doing good stuff. They're being kind to one another. They're helping their neighbors. They're paying their taxes. They're doing all the stuff they're supposed to do, right? But they fill our heads with all the stuff that people are doing that's wrong. And then we get the impression that that's all that's happening, which lends itself to us feeling like the world is falling apart and there's no hope for the future, which doesn't help anybody's morale. And like I said, the truth is the majority of people are out there trying to do good for one another, trying to help one another, trying to make the world a better place. And maybe some of them are misguided into how they do that, but most people are genuinely trying to make the world they live in a better place to be. In fact, here's the funny thing. Pretty much everybody is trying to live their version of a better life. And the difference between those who are messing it up and those who are not is how they define that better life. It's not a matter of what they're trying to achieve, it's a matter of how they define it. Sometimes, to fix the problem, all you gotta do is fix the definition. But gonna drive to the store, but you'll be listening? That's cool, Pookie. I will forgive you for daring to go to the store during my stream. It's okay. It's better that you do it during my stream than that you do it during Ubi's stream. You know, you might miss out on marbles if you did that. And then you would be sad because you wouldn't get to play with your balls on stream. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at Mama. She's so pretty. She really does feel a lot more real right now than she ever did before. I'm really glad we took this time to do these little detailed work things. Because as much as it takes so much stinking time, the results are worth it. Definitely worth it. A rare DVD that you can play. Oh, the Artful Audience. Episodes 1 through 1,000,001. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. The fact that somebody thought to write that song, man, that is just hilarious to me. I know there are some people who probably live it, believe it, breathe it. Stop. having things with you and Tom, Linda? I know your granddaughter's gone back to home. That's a little lonely, I'm sure. I hope you guys are doing okay otherwise. I guess I'm really liking the definition it's starting to get. These are definitely starting to take on a more defined, lifelike appearance, which is good. What we've been going for. It's what we've been working toward. Each stream a little more realism, a little more depth and weight to it. Does mean it goes slower than I might like, but thank you, Linda. I'm just glad you guys are willing to hang tight with me while we work on this thing. It's a labor of love for sure. We have literally poured hours into this work. And just so you know, I don't work on these paintings in between sessions. These things that I do for the Artful audience stream, they are exclusively a partnership between me and you guys. So they don't get worked on in between times. I don't pop it up and scribble in it or mess it up. It is exclusive to y'all. So what you do here really does make all the difference. What you guys ask for, what you guys want, makes all the difference. If you have ideas and you want to pop those in chat, I am always listening. And I'm always open to it. Now, sometimes it may not make sense to implement, but if it does, if it has a place, it'll definitely be considered. Yes, good things do take time. And this is definitely proof of that. I mean, we have spent a considerable amount of time on this one drawing, but it's been worth it. I mean, the fruits of the work that we're getting is it's beautiful. It's really coming to life, and every stream we're seeing more of it kind of really take its shape and feel like something that you could live in. And that to me is what makes it all worth it. Yeah, and the fact that you guys are here. I just appreciate you guys being here with me. Glad you're finding value in it enough to come back each week. Because like I said, this is a stream where I would have been doing the art anyway, but I prefer to do it with you guys so that I have partnership. Because one of the things that I learned in my graphic design career is that art only gets better when it has a committee, basically, other people contributing ideas and thoughts and suggestions to the point where it does take on a life kind of its own. Yeah, that was exactly the right choice. Smooth that out just a little bit, but yeah, adding that dark in between there was exactly the right thing. It's exactly what this needed. But I also hope that by watching this, you're kind of, if you aren't an artist or you don't consider yourself an artist, that you're learning a little bit of something that maybe encourages you to try picking up the pen and try drawing or try painting. And if you are an artist and you don't do as much of it as you like to, that it encourages you to maybe go ahead and you can actually draw along with us, you know? And if you guys have artwork you want to show that you've done, I'm happy to let people get to know about your art too. It doesn't have to be a one-way thing. Yes, Ubi stream too. Oh, nice. Well, thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. We try to create an atmosphere where everybody feels like they have a place. That's really my goal, is just to give you guys at least one place in the world where you know you're always going to be welcome and wanted, where you know that your contributions matter and that being there matters. Because you do matter to me. I don't know if I've told you this or not. But you're kind of a big deal in my stream. The world may have its say, but you used to be good at small detailed painting. Hands shake too much now. Yeah. That is one of those things about getting older, is that some of the things I used to be able to do with great ease now cause great difficulty. Bummer. We've got about 5 minutes until we wrap up here. And then it'll be time to switch y'all over to Ubi's stream. He should be doing his warm-ups already, starting now. And then we will enjoy his stream together. Have a load of fun. Playing with our balls on stream and, you know, all the other stuff that Ubi does. So. Such a terrible influence. I love it though. You know, the longer I've been married to him, the more that I have loved him and valued the man that he is. I have definitely grown up a lot and understood better as I got older what his contribution was. It's making me a better person. Yes, happy eating, Pookie. Whatever it is you're eating, I hope you're enjoying it for our sake. I am going to tell you now that when we get to Texas and Oklahoma, my husband is going to pick out on Whataburger and Brahms. He has already told me and assured me. And I believe him every bit of it. He is a definite lover of Brahms and Whataburger and has missed them a lot being up here. It's not that they don't have their own versions of things, but oh, look at how that popped. It's just crazy. All I did was add the blacks, and there it goes. Just gorgeous. You guys chose the colors, and we're just bringing them to life. Isn't it amazing what a little bit of black can do? Wow. Can't wait to come back next week and see where else we get to. But for now, so long, farewell, Obido saying good night. And like I said, I will not be here Thursday, so there will be no real talk this Thursday. We'll have to postpone until next. And my writing stream will also be postponed because of the family reunion. But I will be back on the 13th, ready for you guys and ready to enjoy your company, your companionship, and your input in my life. So thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. See you in Ubi's stream.